Today we're going to practice some questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, can you tell me, where do you go?
I go to candy store.
To the candy store. How do you go to the candy store?
I go to candy store by bus.
Who do you go to the candy store with?
I go to candy store with my mom.
How long does it take you?
It takes me 30 minutes.
Okay. How often do you go to the candy store? I
go to candy store to
twice
a month.
Twice a month.
Just a month.
I go to the candy store twice a
I
month.
go to the candy store twice a month.
Okay. Where do you go?
I go to the cinema.
How do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema by scooter.
Who do you go to the cinema with?
With my boyfriend.
Full sentence. I go.
I go to the cinema with my boyfriend.
How long does it take you?
It takes me 15 minutes.
Okay. How often do you go to the cinema?
I go to the cinema twice a month.
Twice a month.
Just a month.
Okay. Where do you go?
I go to the Japan.
I go to Japan.
I go to Japan.
How do you go to Japan?
I go to Japan by plane.
Okay. Who do you go to Japan with?
I go to Japan with my relatives.
With my relatives.
With my relatives.
Okay. And how long does it take you?
It takes me 5 hours.
Okay. How often do you go to Japan?
I go to Japan
Once
year.
Once a year.
Once a year.
Okay. Where do you go?
I go to Da Nang.
How do you go to Da Nang?
I go to Da Nang by van.
Okay. Who do you go to Da Nang with?
I go to Da Nang with my family.
Okay, good. Nice. How long does it take you?
It takes me 7 hours.
7 hours, okay. How often do you go to Da Nang?
I go to the Da Nang twice a year.
Twice a year, okay. Where do you go?
I go to playground.
To the playground.
To the playground.
How do you go to the playground?
I go to the playground by bike.
By bike, okay. Who do you go to the playground with?
I go to the playground with my brother.
With my brother, okay. How long does it take you?
It takes me 10 minutes.
10 minutes, very good. How often do you go to the playground?
I go to the playground once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yes, we have 7 days. Once a week.
Once a week.
Okay, where do you go?
With another.
Where do you go? I go
to the
restaurant.
restaurant.
I go to the restaurant.
I go to the restaurant.
How often do you go to the restaurant?
I go to the restaurant twice.
How often do you go to the restaurant?
Four
4 times?
times a week.
4 times a week, yes. I go to the restaurant 4 times a week.
I go to the restaurant twice a week.
4 times a week.
4 times a week.
How long does it take you?
It takes me 20 minutes.
Who do you go to the restaurant with?
With my friend.
Full sentence. I go
I go
to the restaurant
with my friend.
with.
With my friend.
How do you go to the restaurant?
I go to the restaurant by car.
Very good. Where do you go?
I go to the island.
How often do you go to the island?
I go to the island 3 times a year.
Twice a year, okay. How long does it take you?
It takes me 3 hours.
And 3 hours and
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Who do you go to the island with?
I go to the island with my family.
With my
With the
parents. With my parents. How do you go to the island?
I go to the island by ship.
By ship. Where do you go?
I go to my English class.
How do you go to your English class? I go
to the English class by motorbike.
Who do you go to your English class with?
I go to the English class
with
my sister.
Okay. How long does it take you?
It takes me 15 minutes.
Minutes, okay. And how often do you go to your English class? I
go to my English class 3
times
a week.
3 times a week. 3 times a week. Okay. High five. Thank you.